This is Joan Myers, and Joan, you and Buddy live in Zanesville, Pennsylvania. Not Ohio. Yeah. Zanesville, Ohio. Excuse me. I should know because I've been to your place. I think 3 different times.
Yes, that's right.
And actually, you've got a tractor that's world famous now. But I know you're also in the dairy business.
That's right.
And you've got some great information on Fastrack in the dairy, right?
That's correct.
What can you tell us, Joan?
Well, I've always raised baby calves, and I've raised bulls and heifers for years and years. And at our peak, we was milking 435 cows. So therefore, we had lots of calves. And I will admit that I tried everything, but I had 2 problems with my calves. The first problem was a few years ago, they had E. coli. And the kind of E. coli they would have, the vet said, make the cow fresh and outside in the sunshine. Get her out of the maternity pens. So I made sure the cow's fresh and outside. I always have colostrum in the freezer. I would feed that calf seconds after it hit the ground, but I would still maybe 24, 36 hours after birth, that calf would be dehydrating from the inside. Its eyes would be sinking in, and in 48 hours it would be dead. We had no handle on it. At that time I was using a product called Genicol 99. It controlled the E. coli to some extent. And then I went to a product called First Defense. The Genicol 99 was about $9 a tube, 1 treatment for $9. But it did save the biggest part of the calves. Then after that, I had a problem. I don't know what the name of the disease was, but at 7 to 10 days, the calves would get the scours. They usually never died, but they would get the scours bad enough that they'd lose the hair on their tails, they'd lose the hair on the backs of their legs. And therefore, it always set the calf back. And I usually had to spend, usually $8 to $10 in electrolytes to get that calf back on feed. Well, Conklin had come out with the calf bolus, and it said give 1 or 2 boluses at birth. And they said it was a real good drug, would help control the E. coli and the corona rotaviruses and things. And I thought, well, if 2 tablets work that good, what would happen if I would give it for 5 days? So at that time I was raising my little calves. When you have that many calves, you could have 6 or 8 calves born within 1 or 2 days of each other, so they would go in 1 pen. And I would give them, at birth was no problem, 2 tablets. And then by the 2nd day and the 3rd day, well, after 5 days, those calves can really be moving around that pen, me trying to catch them and give them a pill.
Sure.
Well, thank heavens they came out with the kickoff product, where I could just take the 1/4 teaspoon, dump it in the little bucket of milk, and it has eliminated all kinds of problems. Like I said, I was using the First Defense, and I thought, well, everybody tries to prove these products wrong. I thought, well, I will use the kickoff on the bull calves. They're not quite as valuable as the heifer calves. So I used it on the bull calves, and hey, the bull calves was finishing out 6 to 8 weeks better than the heifer calves were that was on the First Defense. So I thought, well, okay, we'll go ahead, and I quit using the First Defense on everything, went to the calf bolus on everything, and I gave it for 5 days in a row. I know the jar only says 1, 2, or 3 days, but I found that 5 days is such a cheap insurance policy that at this point in time I can spend about 25 cents per dose for kickoff for 5 days. I can have my calves, I do not use anything else. I can have my calves weaned, completely weaned, and eating 3 to 4 pounds of grain in 5 weeks. At the 6 weeks. At 5 weeks of age, they're eating at least 2 pounds of a good 22% starter, and I take their milk down to just once a day for 1 week. And it's when they're exactly 6 weeks off, they're completely off of the milk and eating 3 and 4 pounds of starter, and they never bawl, they never go backwards. And I just would not raise calves without the kickoff product. It's fantastic.
Joan, I think you're sold on that.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you sharing that with us, because there's lots of other people around the country that need to know what you've seen in that product.
And a lot of people won't admit what kind of problem they have. We was talking to a dairyman the other day, and we didn't ask him what his problems were, but just asked me to share with him how I come onto the kickoff and what it done. And I told him, well, I had calves that they would die at 3 days of age. The vet didn't know. We vaccinated our cows for everything. We couldn't stop it. And then at 7 to 10 days, he went through this rough period of electrolytes, and it's just the kickoff has just completely wiped out everything. I mean, the calves are so healthy.
That's great.
Hair coats are shiny. It's just wonderful.
Okay, well, we appreciate your time this afternoon. And if we can, I'm going to get that husband of yours over here, and I hope he's got another story to tell us on that crazy world record tractor that he's got. I just love coming out to see you guys.
Okay.
So appreciate it, Joan.
All right,
Thank you so much. Okay, Joan, you said you forgot a couple things.
Yes, when I was raising a lot of calves, my death loss was around 5%. And when I started using the kickoff products, I checked it for 3 years in a row, and I brought it down to less than 0.5%.
Less than 0.5%.
Less than 0.5%. Okay. And the medication cost was just almost zero. I started to say that we had visited with a large dairy yesterday, and I had related to this gentleman how kickoff had helped me. We didn't ask him what his problems were, but I just related what problems I had had over the years. And Bud said that when he was sitting there listening to me, he started shaking his head. And when we left the meeting, he ordered kickoff for his calves, and he's been on it for about a month now. And this is around a 3,500 cow dairy, and they are very pleased with the results. We don't know what the problem was, but it has helped whatever their problem was, and they have ordered 1.5 cases of it so far.
Oh, that's great.
And are continuing on.
Great. Yeah, I appreciate it, Joan.
Okay,
Thanks
thank you.
a million.